Here are 7 reasons why the lottery could destroy your life. From people coming around with money requests to fear of going broke and becoming a lottery addict. These are some of the major things that led to the downfall of some of the most renowned lottery winners. Number 7. You will be drowning in requests. Once you win that grand prize, more and more people will start reaching out. Probably everyone in your circle will come out of the shadows, and only a few of them will be there to actually congratulate you, while the rest of them, they'll have their eyes on your money. And it gets worse. Trust us, these requests won't stop. They'll come at you through phone calls, emails, or even a knock on your front door. First up are your family members, and they're probably going to be those relatives you haven't heard from in ages. Suddenly, you'll become their favorite brother, sister, uncle, aunt, or cousin. They might even have a heartwarming story, but they're after your wallet. Remember those buddies you stopped hanging out with long ago? Well, now they can't wait to be your old pal again. The funny thing is, they might even bring up some debts or bills they can't pay. And they'll be hoping that you'll help them out. But it's not just ordinary people who want your money. Soon, investors will close in on you too. The next thing you know, they'll be marketing some of their best investment opportunities and trying their best to get a share of your cash. Lastly, the charitable organizations. We all know that donations are a noble thing to do. But the thing is that many people guilt lottery winners into giving a lot of money to causes that aren't close to their hearts. Now, this leads to 2 different problems. A winner is already going through a lot of worrying about how to manage their new fortune. And in most cases, they will make some mistakes. The second thing is that not all of the world's problems can be solved with lottery winnings. As a winner, it can take you a while to realize that. You're not suddenly responsible for everything and everyone just because you won a whole lot of money. At some point, you'll have to stand up and say no. But when you do, you might be creating another problem. There are many real-life stories where people tried their best to rob lotto winners. It's like they think if you're not going to hand over your money willingly, they're allowed to simply take it for themselves. Take Sandra Hayes, for instance. She won the Missouri lottery in 2006. She shared the jaw-dropping $224 million prize with 12 coworkers who'd bought the ticket together. But life did not miraculously change as she had hoped. In 2012, she published her book, How Winning the Lottery Changed My Life, in which she shed light on the lesser-known side of the glamorous game. Sandra shared that it became really hard to adjust to life after winning. She said she had to endure the greed and the need people have, and them trying to get her to release money to them. That caused a lot of emotional pain, especially because there were people who she loved deep down, and they turned into vampires. She said she felt like they were trying to suck the life out of her. Just like her, Abraham Shakespeare was lucky enough to get his hands on $17 million in the Florida lottery. But when the news broke, people swarmed to his house. They kept asking him for one favor after another. Disappointed with the whole situation, he told his brother he'd have been better off broke. While your money might not be safe, there is something even more significant that might be at stake. Number 6. Your safety will be at risk. You'll probably be excited about winning, but there's a dark side to hitting the jackpot that you need to remember. Your safety could be compromised, and there are many ways for that to happen. Some people might try to steal from you, kidnap you, or even harm you. We just mentioned that Abraham Shakespeare felt he'd have been better off if he'd never won. Well, a woman named Dee Moore manipulated Abraham after he won. She claimed to be one of his well-wishers as she wanted to help him manage his money and share his experience with the world. And you would not believe what happened next. Abraham was found dead 3 years after he had won the lottery. His body was found at Dee Moore's house. And that's not all. She used up his money that was dedicated to a foundation. In 2012, Aruj Khan won $1 million, taking home $425,000 after taxes. However, life did not give him the chance to enjoy his grand prize either. Before he even collected his money, he died. His brother was suspicious and asked for an investigation. He was right. Police reported that cyanide poisoning was the reason for his sudden death. So it looks like you could really be in danger. Another recurring issue for lottery winners is blackmailing. Your past might have secrets that you would rather not share, but once you're a lottery winner, extortionists could threaten to expose those secrets, unless you pay them. When others know you have money, they might try to take it from you through dishonest means. Jack Whitaker was the lucky winner of a Powerball jackpot in 2002, and something unfortunate happened to him. Someone stole more than 500 grand from his car. The robbers knew who he was and made good use of the opportunity. In some cases, people even file fake lawsuits, hoping to pressure you into paying a settlement. These people know that a person would pay them their demanded money just to make the problem go away. Plus, some people might stage accidents and fake injuries and then sue you for personal injury. They're counting on you settling the claim to avoid a legal battle. In 2015, Gregory Bursch won 435 grand in the Georgia lottery. Unfortunately, before the next year started, someone robbed him at gunpoint. That was the sad way that Gregory's life ended. These are just a few stories of people who had to go through a lot and didn't always survive to tell the tale, all because of their jackpot. Yet there are ways in which you can be safe and live a peaceful life. All you have to do is be careful and think logically. Also, stay anonymous if you have the chance. Alongside your safety, there's another element in your life that might be at risk. Number 5. You will struggle to find genuine relationships. Your win will bring you joy and some challenges as well. And you may face some tough choices too. One of them is saying no. Yes, you will have to say no to requests for help from friends and family, and this will strain these relationships. When Sandra Hayes won the lottery, a friend she had known for years asked her for money to pay back taxes. She told Sandra that she was about to lose her house, or so she said, but Sandra did some research. She even checked the government's website, and she was shocked when she found out that her friend's taxes were already paid in full. Sandra didn't hesitate to confront her. She printed out the proof and sent it to her friend, and after that, they never ever spoke again. This is just one aspect of the tricky situations you may face. There have been times when people went as far as hiding their good fortune, and this led to some serious consequences. In 1996, Denise Rossi won a whopping $1.3 million in the California lottery. Instead of sharing her joy with her husband of 25 years, she did something unexpected. She filed for divorce secretly. And throughout the divorce process, she kept her lottery win hidden from everyone. But here's where the story takes a twist. 3 years later, the truth surfaced. The court found out that she had broken the law by not disclosing her lottery winnings during the divorce proceedings. Her punishment was quite astonishing. She was ordered to give every single dollar of her lottery prize to her ex-husband. Now, if you're single and win the lottery, life will become even more difficult for you. And why is that, you ask? Well, the biggest obstacle for you will be finding a partner who loves you for who you are, and not for your bank balance. The fine line that separates the two will be faded, and it'll be harder for you to trust people. As you strive for real and meaningful relationships, there's a solo battle you'll have to fight at the same time. Number 4. You will go through emotional turmoil. There are certain downsides to sudden riches. Getting lots of money overnight can mess with your head. As the winner of the jackpot, you may often feel weird emotions like paranoia or anxiety, and you might even suffer from something called winner's guilt. But that's not all. You might also feel a sudden loss of motivation and lose a sense of purpose in your life. When you stop working and chasing your dreams, life might not feel so great. Let's say that you used to work hard to make money, but now you have enough money, so you need to find a new way to feel good about yourself. That's why having daily routines is super important for new lottery winners. They help you do things in a regular way and make the most of your time while you decide on how your new life will work. Routines make life easier because they keep things predictable and reduce the stress of making choices all the time. Emotional troubles are just one part of your inner conflicts. There are other feelings that will hit you even harder. There's a condition known as sudden wealth syndrome. No, we're not making that up. But what does it mean? Well, it goes hand in hand with winner's guilt. After all, we all know how impossible it is for you to be the lucky one. So it's natural that someone might go through such a phase. From there, boredom can start to set in. People are wired to work and achieve personal or financial goals. And when that circuit gets cut off, things start to go haywire. Similarly, when you get enough money, you might start to tick off the items on your bucket list. You'll probably go on vacation, or you might buy that new car model that you've been eyeing for quite some time. Or you may even think about retiring early to spend quality time with your family. But once that bucket list is ticked off, you've done it all, and you'll feel an emptiness in your life, and it'll feel like being hit by a truck. Previously, your life was on track, everything was planned, but then suddenly everything changed. The dramatic lifestyle transformation is certainly difficult to manage, just like the next thing which requires your full attention. Number 3. You may end up with no money. Believe it or not, 70% of lottery winners are expected to file for bankruptcy in just a few years. Yes, you heard that right, 70%. The National Endowment for Financial Education shared this startling figure after extensive research. People tend to get more careless once they get way more money than they previously had. It's a little trick your brain plays on you. When you've never had much money and then suddenly you have a fortune, you feel like you could never spend it all. That leads you down the road of splurging. Both these things have been known to destroy lottery winners and their families to an unimaginable extent. Let's talk about Britain's lottery winner, Michael Carroll. In 2002, he won 9.7 million British pounds. That's over $12 million. After that, he did everything to show off his new wealth. He wasted money on drugs and parties. He even got a demolition derby racetrack built in his backyard. As a result of his extravagant lifestyle, he lost all the money 10 years later. And to make ends meet, he got a job at a cookie factory. Just like him, Jack Whitaker had a tragic story. Jack hit the $314 million Powerball jackpot in West Virginia. But what did he do with it? He went all out. Vegas trips, fancy cars, even racehorses. He had it all. He also gave away piles of money to charities too. And he ultimately started having a tough time quitting his overspending habits. And on top of that, he was under extreme pressure as he received more and more requests for money with every passing day. Things became overwhelming for him. And he had a health breakdown, which meant he had to stop working. Apart from the external request and squandering, there are other problems as well. For instance, money is a tricky thing for couples and families. It will result in arguments. Surprisingly, having more money doesn't always solve your money problems. Don McNay, a financial consultant, knows all about this. He helps people who win the lottery, and he wrote a book called Life Lessons from the Lottery. He shared some words of wisdom when he said that many lottery winners don't end up happy or rich. Further, Don McNay warned in the article that some people sadly take their own lives. Others burn through their cash faster than a hot knife through butter. They even go through things like divorces and personal loss. Sure, there are lots of winners who made wise choices and found happiness. But before you dash off to grab that lottery ticket, remember, watch out for your wishes. While financing may give you a headache, there's something else that's even more damaging to your health. Number 2, you will worry about managing your money. That big pile of cash brings with it immense stress. And with that begins the never-ending panic. What if I lose the money? How can I protect it? Where should I invest? The list goes on and on. The real deal is that success barriers are no joke. When you have an insane amount of cash in front of you, it's easy to feel invincible. You might start thinking you can take crazy risks without consequences. But let us tell you something. Just one lawsuit can wipe it all out. Success isn't just about making money, it's about keeping it too. There's a fragile balance when it comes to handling risk and knowing how much your bank balance can take. If you're not careful, one slip and it will all come crashing down. The finance expert Don McNay shared that many people end up with no money and become unhappy. The lottery is like a curse for them, making their lives worse. Donna Micken won $34.5 million from the New York State Lottery, and she believed it was the worst thing to ever happen to her. She said that after they won the lottery, her inner dialogue was manic. She felt her life was hijacked by the lottery. Basically, you just go from worrying about how to make more money to worrying about how to keep the fortune you've got. But that's still not the worst thing that can happen. Coming up next is something a lot of people fear. Number 1. You'll become addicted to playing the lottery. Winning the lottery sounds exciting, right? Many of us have daydreams about what we would do with that extra cash. But here's a word of warning. Lottery addiction is a real thing. Lottery addiction happens when you get into the idea of winning big. You start thinking about it all the time. Your hopes, dreams, and goals all revolve around those lottery tickets. You're always imagining what you could buy. It's not just about winning, though. Some people get hooked on the thrill of playing the lottery, and no matter what they do, they can't stop playing. Now, there's a similar problem with lottery tickets. Buying one every now and then is not a big deal, but if you're doing it all the time, it can be a problem. See, when you make it a routine, it can turn into an addiction. It's like when you start doing something over and over without even thinking about it. And here's the twist. Some folks use lottery tickets to deal with tough feelings. They might feel better when they buy one, but that can be a slippery slope. You see, the lottery seems harmless because it's not too pricey, but it can still become a bad habit. It can get addictive if you rely on it for fun and let it mess up your life. Addiction creeps in when you keep buying lots of tickets. A woman named Tavania won the British lottery at the age of 17, and after that, she went down the road of addiction. She didn't even leave the line for tickets and decided to hold off on going to the bathroom. Lottery scratch-off games became her everyday obsession. She claimed she had a fear that if she stepped out of line for tickets, someone else would win. She said she would have done anything to get her hands on another ticket. Adam Osmond from Connecticut had to give up on playing the lottery. Do you know why? Well, the man wasted $1 million of his own hard-earned money on lottery tickets. He lost his business, his home, and any sense of a regular life due to his addiction. Luckily, after realizing what he was going through, he did something sensible. He sought out help to overcome the lottery addiction. So, hitting the jackpot and winning the lottery is not all rainbows and unicorns. There are some sneaky dangers that come with a sudden influx of cash. But if you think these insights were shocking, it can get way worse. Just check out our list of the most shocking things that ever happened to lottery winners.